about going down to Tampa. Mark, that was a great idea, wasn't it? You've done it. But I thought about going down to Tampa if he ever comes up and watching the kid pitch, because I have watched him at Durham. He's a tremendous talent. He really is. So best wishes go out to Glasnow. Solak batting last night for Durham. He went 2 for 4. He's had home runs in 4 of his last 5 games. Nick Solak was a former Yankee farmhand, traded over to Tampa, and he's on the cusp of a call-up, but I think it's going to take an injury for Solak to get the call-up to Tampa. But he has homered in 4 of his last 5 games, going 2 for 4 last night. More players down on the farm. These are players that could get calls up this year, okay? If not, I'll be surprised. Nick Madrigal, he's a White Sox farm product. He went 3 for 4 last night for Double-A Birmingham, doubled, 2 stolen bases. Nick Madrigal was the 4th overall pick in the 2018 draft. He started the year at High A Winston-Salem. That's where he played last year after being drafted. I've seen Madrigal. He reminds me of Altuve, both in stature and in mannerisms. Very quick, good pop with the bat, great ball strike recognition. Tremendous. He doesn't strike out hardly any at all. He's a contact kind of guy. Since he was promoted to Double-A just about 3 weeks ago, he's hit .404. Madrigal will probably be a September call-up this year for the White Sox. He's somebody you want to keep your eye on. Put him on your watch list. I'm not telling you to stash him right now. I'm telling you, put him on your watch list. Keep up with his stats. I'm going to do it. And if he gets called up in September, he could play a lot in that lineup at second base. He's a second baseman, and he could play a lot. Matt Thaiss for the Angels, multi-hit games, 4 straight of those. He's had back-to-back 3-hit games. Matt Thaiss is a first baseman, and the Angels need all the help they can get at first base. I could see him getting called up soon. Put him on your watch list. And then finally, as far as players to watch, before I give kudos to a trio of Double-A Trenton farmhands, Carter Kaboom, the Nats shortstop second baseman. He's at Triple-A Fresno, the number 1 prospect in the Nationals organization, number 21 in all of Major League Baseball. He went 2 for 2 last night, walked 3 times. He had another home run. Over his last 6 games, check out these gaudy numbers. Of course, we know Carter Kaboom, before I say that, he came up early this year and absolutely fell on his face. Okay, his first time up in the major leagues. I think he had a home run his first at bat, but after that, not anything at all, hardly. But over his last 6 games at AAA, he's batting .609. Wow. 14 for 23. I had written down 143, but it's actually 14 for 23 with 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 10 runs scored over those 6 games. Carter Kaboom, he's going to get called back up this year. And it depends on where the Nats fall with their veterans. I mean, if they were to trade, say, a Howie Kendrick away, Carter Kaboom is an easy call-up. And Howie Kendrick certainly could be a trade piece. He's hitting over .320, plays multiple positions. And wouldn't you just love to be a veteran, looking a veteran, and land a Howie Kendrick? That would open a door for a Carter Kaboom. Also, Rendon. Now, this is if Washington becomes sellers. If Washington becomes sellers and they trade Rendon away, Kaboom could come up and play every day. So, keep your eye on that situation. Finally, down in the farm, Deivi Garcia, Domingo Acevedo, and Daniel Alvarez. What do these 3 players have in common? Let's do it one more time, okay? Deivi Garcia, Domingo Acevedo, and Daniel Alvarez. What do these 3 players have in common? Okay, are you ready? The answer: they combined last night for the Double-A Trenton Thunder to throw a no-hitter. Yes, they did. And all of these guys are New York Yankee farmhands. That's right. And if you think I got a love fest with the Yankees, I do. But Deivi Garcia, Acevedo, and Alvarez, and Acevedo is one of the Yankee top pitching prospects. Let's look at games for today as we close out the show. Time just flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Tell you. Are you guys enjoying this? I love it. I love talking baseball. So tonight at 7:05, no afternoon games. So you don't have to set your daily lineups until tonight. This is mainly for you daily guys out there. The Blue Jays, 29-50, are in the Bronx to take on the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The 50-29 New York Yankees. It'll be Richard for the Blue Jays, and the Yankees haven't announced a pitcher. They were going to use Chad Green as an opener today. They still may, but Chad Green had to come in last night because the Yankees blew a 10-2 lead, only wound up winning 10-8, and Chad Green had to throw a few bullets last night. So against the Blue Jays, Richard, DJ LeMahieu, he's 7 for 23. He has doubled, he has tripled. That's a 304 average, and DJ LeMahieu has been the man for the Yankees this year. So in daily fantasy, DJ LeMahieu, put him on your list to have. The Dodgers are at Chase Field in Phoenix, taking on the D-backs. Stripling, as I said, 3-2 with a 3.08 ERA against Robbie Ray. What do you say? 5-4, 3.87 ERA. Batters to watch and to add in fantasy for daily today for the D-backs. Nick Ahmed, who has 5 hits and 10 at-bats. One of those 5 hits, a home run off of Stripling. And David Peralta, who is 6 for 18. That's a 3.33 average. He has 4 doubles in his career against Peralta. What about for the Dodgers? Chris Taylor, who I've already told you has been hot since getting that starting position. He's 8 for 26 in his career. That's a 3.08 average against the aforementioned Say Hey Robbie Ray. The Mets, they're in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. Lockett pitching for the Mets. Check out this ERA, 23.14. Yeah, don't you love that? I don't think I've ever seen an ERA like that before. 23.14. Pitching against Jake Arrieta at Citizens Bank tonight. Arrieta 6-6. I already told you I like Scott Kingery. Put him in your lineup, okay? I don't have any numbers against Lockett, but I love Scott Kingery. Bryce Harper also against this rookie. Go for it. For Mets, I do have you some statistics, though. Jeff McNeil is 7 for 13 in his career. That's a 5.38 average against Jake Arrieta. McNeil has doubled. He has homered. He has tripled. And in addition to a 5.38 average, he has a 1.385 OPS. I love me some Jeff McNeil. And he's multiple positional today, so add him in whatever daily lineup you can. Looking for a catcher today in fantasy? Wilson Ramos, he's your man if he's starting. He's 5 for 10 with 2 walks in his career off of Arrieta. And here's a sneaky kind of cheap option at third base today. Todd Frazier, he's 8 for 26 in his career off of Arrieta. 3.08 average, 2 home runs, and 3 stolen bases. So not only does he pick him up well at the bat, he picks him up well on the bases as well. The Padres are at the Orioles. Luke Allen, a rookie, won his first start. He'll be pitching at Oriole Park at Camden Yards against Jacobonis, who is 1-1 with a 4.70 ERA. That game's at 7.05. I'm looking for some runs being scored in that one because the Orioles typically hit left-handers pretty well. Keep your eye on it. The White Sox are playing the Red Sox. Don't blend your colors. They can fade in the wash. At Fenway Park tonight at 7:10. Fulmer pitching for the White Sox, 1-1 with a 6.35 ERA. David Price, I'm looking for something good out of David Price tonight. He's 4-2 with a 3.39 ERA. And a player to finally sit. I've been praising Jose Abreu and how well he does against all these pitchers. Well, I finally found out why he didn't hit 400. Because he's 3 for 23 in his career off David Price. That's a 130 average. Not a good day to start Jose Abreu. The Nats are in Marlins Park. And I already told you Scherzer has struggled a little bit with the Marlins for some reason. He's 6-5 on the season. He's going up against Richards, who's 3-7. Here's some 3 interesting options for Marlins. And you know Marlin players are cheap in daily fantasy, okay? Curtis Granderson, he's 12 for 43, 279 average career-wise off of Max Scherzer, 3 home runs. Rojas, shortstop third base, 7 for 25 with a home run off Scherzer. That's a 280 average. And Starlin Castro at second base, 7 for 22, 318 average, and a home run. Those are 3 Marlins, probably very cheap in fantasy, who could win you some money today. Trey Turner, he's gotten 3 hits off of Richards with 2 stolen bases. He's a good ad if you're a Nats kind of guy. The Rangers are at Comerica Park taking on the Tigers in Detroit, Michigan at 7:10 tonight. Miggy Cabrera will face off against Chavez starting for Texas. He's 4 for 14 off of Chavez with a homer, 4 walks. That's a 286 average. Zimmerman pitching for the homestanding Tigers, 0-4 with a 6.03 ERA. So I like any Ranger who's left-handed and breathing tonight. And I also like Logan Forsythe, who is 7 for 16 off of Zimmerman. That's a 5.26 average. And he's hitting, a stolen base, 2 doubles, 3 walks. Great stats against Zimmerman. Give him an ad, okay? Texas, look for him to open up a can of kick your rear tonight in Detroit. The Royals are playing the Indians. Faded Sox. Yeah, I mean, it can happen, right? And the Sox could fade playing the White Sox. If you mix them up tonight, you never know. They're already 8 games out, Donkey Okie. Better be careful. You never know about those White Sox. The Royals and Indians playing at Progressive Field. Sparkman for the Royals. Shane Bieber for the Indians. That's at 7:10. The Braves and Cubs. Max Fried at Wrigley. 8-3 against, again, I already mentioned, Alzolay, the rookie, pitching tonight at 8:05. I'm going to be watching that one. The Rays at Target Field tonight. 2018 Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell, who's having an off year so far, 4-6. He's going up against Kyle Gibson, 2 hitters in that game. Nelly Cruz, in 10 at-bats against Snell, he has 3 hits and a home run. For the Rays against Kyle Gibson, Kevin Kiermaier, 6 for 14. That's a 4.29 average with 3 doubles in his career against Kyle Gibson. The Pirates are at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Williams pitching for Pittsburgh, Cole pitching for Houston. No stats to give you there. Williams hasn't pitched long enough. And, of course, Cole used to be a Pirate. The Mariners are at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Gonzalez for Seattle, 8-6 on the year against Kyle Davies, 7-1. 2 hitters there. Mike Moustakas, 5 for 8 in his career against Gonzalez. Not 10 at-bats, but it's the best I can give you. 5 for 8, 6.25 average. D. Gordon has 3 hits against Davies in his career. Those are 2 possible fantasy ads tonight. The Athletics, the Swinging A's, are at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Chris Bassett, 4-3 against Jack Flaherty, 4-4. The Rockies are at Oracle Park in San Francisco, taking on the San Francisco Giants. Chichi Gonzalez, yes! Chichi Gonzalez pitching for the Rockies. His first start of the year, and he goes in a great environment pitching against the Giants. He may be a good ad today. In his first start in that park against the Giant Bats, against Madison Bumgarner. And the question is, how many more starts will Madison Bumgarner be making for the San Francisco Giants? The Hickory, North Carolina. That's somewhere near Salisbury, between Salisbury and Charlotte, if you're familiar with that area and you're out there listening. He's 3-7 with a 4.28 ERA, and the North Carolina native does not fare well against Mark Reynolds, who's 6 for 18 with 2 home runs. Chris Iannetta, who is 7 for 24 against him with a 292 average and a home run. Charlie Blackmon fares well off of Bumgarner, 13 for 36, 361 average and a home run. And, of course, there's always Nolan Arenado, who's 13 for 52, 2 home runs and a 250 average. The final game tonight, the Reds are at Angels Stadium, taking on the Angels. Tyler Mahle, 2-7 against Andrew Haney, 0-1. I'm looking for some runs to be scored in that game as well. Add Drellington Simmons. I like him tonight. I like Trout, of course, always. For the Reds, the right-handed bat, Senzel. He should hit tonight in that stadium, so go get you some Reds. Great to be with you. I'm out of time. I've got about 30 seconds to get off here. I've enjoyed being with you. I hope everyone has a great day. Go watch some baseball. Support your podcasters. Thank you for being in the chat room. Have a great one from Arnie and Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.